Yes, you can.
Thank you. So, hello everyone. Let me introduce my team. We are making the SQR project. First of all, I would like to present our project because we've changed it since the previous presentation. Our project is the SQR UI. I think most of you have already worked with it. It's a very powerful tool for visualizing and interacting with the API resources. It allows to build, send requests, and a lot of more useful things. On the site, you're able to see the logo and the interface, which is usually very recognizable. Besides it, open source, it has around 75K of lines of code, and it's built as a SPA, which means single page application. So it's written as website. So approaching the project, we started to think who are the target audience of the project, and we found out that the most of them are the people which are involved in the software development project, and also standalone developers. The average age is 28 years old, and we thought that possibly we are in this audience as well, and from this we decided to check the values, the quality attributes, which we think are important for our project. Some of them you are able to see on the slide. We think that such kind of application should be easy to use, efficient, portable, and maintainable. In future slides, we will explain why we think these are important and review them more closely. What about our quality model? We've chosen the Braille quality model. It's pretty similar to McCall's, and it's the hierarchical structure. Why we've chosen this quality model? We made it due to the reason that the values which we thought are important for our project, all of them are reviewed in this quality model. So the first quality attribute we wanted to talk about is the portability. Portability is a non-functional requirement which is can be defined as possibility to change the environment of the project and check if it is operating in the same way. The environment in this case can be considered as the operating system, the browser, and so on. So, why we thought that this might be important? As we know, all developers are different. They work in different spheres, and we think that due to some limitations or preferences, it's important for this project to work on all operating systems and all browsers. So, for this project, we define the quality attribute as the software should operate on more than 90% of most used browsers and 50% of most used screen resolutions. The numbers are not so high, but we made it due to the reason that programmers and people from IT are usually much better in the technology. They don't use Internet Explorer or some browsers which are rarely used. So first of all, we started collecting the statistics. We collected the statistics about most used browsers and chose 3 of them. So the Chrome is 82%, Firefox is 8.7%, and Safari is 3.4%. I think it probably wasn't necessary to add Safari, but there are so many Mac users here, so we decided to add it. The next one is the graph, which shows the graph about which are the most used resolutions for screens, and we found out that 2 most used resolutions is the Full HD and 1366 to 768. So our test kit should cover the cases with 3 browsers and 2 resolutions. Here you're able, we've chosen the online tool. It's called something like check browser cross browser or something like this. It's an online tool and it's very useful. You can test the application in any environment, any operating system, any resolution, and etc. On the slide, you're able to see some of the screenshots which were made while testing. These are made, I guess, in Mozilla Firefox. And I didn't include all of them because they're very similar and they work well, just like a spoiler. And let's proceed to the results. So we decided to check three main attributes of the software in the browser to check if it works. And these are the design should be responsive. So we should be able to see the API clearly. There shouldn't be any CSS glitches and stuff. The next one is the sending of requests from the browser to test our API. And the fetching of API, because Swagger sends the request to fetch some JSON file with the APIs. So the next we'll talk about usability.
Okay. As we know, usability is a degree of ease with which a system can be used to achieve some required goals. Why usability is important for our project? If you go to official website of Swagger UI, you will see that the goal of this system is to allow developers to interact and try out each operation in their API. So this leads to a high level of user interaction with the system. So high level of usability is required. How we tested usability? To test usability, we came through several steps. Firstly, we defined product under test, which was described earlier. After that, we defined our business case or what should be improved. Our test objectives are efficiency of the system, understandability of the system, feedback from users, and problems of design. And our participants are actually users of Swagger UI who use it in their work or university projects.
Okay. To test usability, we've used a standardized usability questionnaire. It is a questionnaire conducted at the end of usability study. During the usability study, you give the users to use the features and collect the feedback. And you give them the questionnaire at the end when you want just to know their level of satisfaction of the system in a standardized way. So it is easier to compare questionnaires, to collect metrics itself, and then to communicate about the results with others. And here, the most popular questionnaires listed: SUMI, PSSUQ, and SUS. SUMI consists of 50 questions. It tests efficiency, effect, and so on. It costs $700 a month. It's expensive for us. And the sample of question is the system responds too slowly to inputs, and 3 types of answers: agree, undecided, and disagree. The questionnaire we used has 16 questions, and it tests customer satisfaction in domains of system quality, information, and interface quality. It is free, and the sample of question it was simple to use the system, and from 1 to 7, from strongly agree to strongly disagree. And the last one is the most popular. It was emoji with star there. It consists of 10 questions. It tests the usability, just common one usability. It is free, and the sample of question is, I think that I would like to use this system. And from 1 to 5, from strongly agree to strongly disagree. Okay, I will tell you a little bit about what we've chosen. It's another name because the PSS UK is for interviews, our questionnaire is for online surveys. It consists of 19 questions. Questions from 1 to 8 test system quality, from 9 to 14 information, and from 15 to 18 interface. And the last question is, do you actually like it? And so no, I want to tell about plot. And here is the results of our survey. As you may see, users are satisfied with Swagger interface there at the end, but not really with information quality, and something strange happens in system quality. The next slide. We also collected feedback. Here is negative feedback. There are positive. As you may just compare the questionnaire we used consists of only positive questions. That's why on the plot we had all positive answers, higher than the average. And the lesson we learned is to carefully choose a survey the next time.
So next thing which we go to test is maintainability by our Bohem model. So the main ways to test maintainability is check that the developers uses defined standards, which defined by some conventions or by some other developers. It should be for databases, for usage of interfaces. The code should be structured, and so on. The next thing is separately implementation of input, processing of the data, and output. So it should be divided into different modules, and it's a good way to code. And system should be well distributed. It means low coupling, some high cacheation things, and algorithms should be optimized. And to check, we used metrics. One way is we use Sonar Cloud, so it gives us some metrics for maintainability. It's code smells, which says using some linters, some static analysis, the places in code which should be somehow edited. And it gives the next thing, the next metric is depth, which is the estimation of the time which we need to spend for make some changes in our code. So also we run unit tests, which was developed by the owners of the project. So here we can see that we have 65% of statements coverage and 52% of branch coverage. It's not good enough, but that's all. It's not the last version of our presentation. So also we run end-to-end tests, but we've did include it to our presentation. So end-to-end test is some part of statements system testing, which run over some basic business scenarios, which by some, that's all. So also there was 2 failed tests, which was for some bugs, which should be fixed in later implementation of a project.
And the last thing we would like to talk about is the lessons learned. So first of all, we would like to talk about to conclude the software quality in terms of chosen model. So we can find out that in terms of portability, it works perfect. But in terms of usability and maintainability, there are some problems which probably might get improved. So the next problem we faced is that we had to elucidate the requirements and find the values in the project which is already well built and pretty mature. But we made some assumptions, and in the end it worked for us. The next thing I'd like to talk that also found out that online platforms are very useful for testing. You don't have to install, for instance, all kinds of browsers on your PC. You can just run it remotely in the cloud and it will work. Or even with the Sonar Cloud, it's much better than installing everything on your local machine. Thanks for attention. Please free to ask questions.
Thank you, group 2. Let's start with question, group number 3.
You mentioned that you conducted a survey with users for testing the usability. Yes, was it online survey? So as I understand, you couldn't affect the quality of the people who responded. Yes. So you just posted into some group. Yeah, okay, I just had a question like on which criteria did you select the users, but if it was online, okay, then yeah, you couldn't affect it. And how many answers did you get? 90. So do you think that 19 answers is enough for measuring this? Okay, well, yes, but there can be some amount that is sufficient. Yes, thank you.
Why did you choose to conduct a survey?
I'm sorry, which group it is?
It's group number 4.
Because the usability study is when you give users a feature to use and then they give feedback. We have users that already used this system, and we can just collect a feedback in a way it is standardized and can be measured. That's why we used it.
It's group number 8. So when you were talking about how you chose the quality model, you said that its values corresponded to the values of your project. Can you elaborate on this? Which values these were exactly?
Yeah, sure. So, 1 second. So, for us, as for developers, which are the target audience, we thought that what is important for Swagger UI. First of all, it should be easy to use because no one likes to just that. The next one is efficiency. We said that it would be good if if our application could perform all its functionality in efficient way with a little of power from us. The portability and maintainability. Portability is important because, as I've already said, all developers use different devices and different technologies, different operating system due to restrictions or limitations. And maintainability, honestly, we just chose it because we think that it should be in every software. And as you're able to see that on BM quality model, the hierarchy is the following: that we have three main quality attributes, which in turn branch into several more. And for instance, here you can see the portability, the efficiency, the maintainability, and that's it. More questions?
Then group number 5, questions?
Sorry, group number 6 first.
Okay.
So you talked a lot about testing the usability of the UI, but what about testing its functionality? For example, manual testing or stuff like that?
In some way, we checked it in the portability. Because as I already said, we've checked the software on different operating systems and on different resolutions of the screens. We checked three, the most important, in my opinion, functionalities. The rendering, the visualization of the API, as well as the sending of requests, just to interact with the API and to check if it works. And the API fetching, which gives a very powerful tool to just get the needed API, not from the file, but from the internet remotely. But
also there was end-to-end testing, which is a part of system testing, and it goes like by some basic scenarios. For example, click here, run here, and there are somehow 20 or 30 business cases which tested like that.
Group number 7, can you go back to slide with usability survey results?
Excuse me, group number 7, you already asked questions, if I understand.
For this presentation? I
Yes.
suppose no. Do you have any idea why the answers to the second question is much lower than in another question of this group? Maybe this question was like unsuitable for this project.
Maybe. I'll check it and put it to the report.
Group number 9. How did you validate your questionnaire results? Because maybe there is some bias, because maybe you only asked only students.
As I said, there is some bias, and we know about it. It is about that positively stated questions lead to positive answers, and we tried somehow to normalize it. It's not shown here, but we know that the curve is as following, and that's all we know. And we can't really tell something more.
If I remember correctly, you said, group number 5, if I remember correctly, you said that it works slowly or not. Do you have any idea how to improve it? No?
Which group it is? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Which group currently is talking? Which way was the group? Oh, 5, okay.
Group number 5, right.
Okay, group number 10. So in the Sonar Cube, you had some anomalies. So you had bugs. And did you like open those bugs and check some of them and analyze if they're relevant or just I don't know, not really relevant to this case? So maybe write some tests for the bugs to check if they really fail the program.
Okay. No, we didn't check these bugs. That's the answer, I guess, because we didn't check. We didn't thought that it would be very important for this project, so we decided not to.
Okay, thank you, guys. Now group number 4, your turn, please. Thank you very much for a very nice presentation.